Hello, welcome to the Special News Podcast. My name is Mike Williams. These guys are Jake Kulkowski and Liam McKelvey. How's it going?
Yes.
Not bad.
It's going good, you know. It's going very good, thank you.
We played some co-op on the weekend, didn't we? We played a bit of multiplayer.
Nice.
Our plan was to play Warzone, the new Warzone update, Call of Duty, which is a simple matter of searching the word Warzone on the PlayStation Store, downloading the Call of Duty Modern Warfare Spec Ops pack, the Call of Duty Modern Warfare, multiplayer pack 1 or 2 or
2.
Call of Duty,
not 1, 2.
Yeah.
That's the compatibility data pack to make it compatible.
Yeah, there was like some kind of resolution pack or something. Or
high resolution. No.
Okay,
textures.
So after downloading about 8 or 9 different things, updating it, watching about 6 full movie videos, pressing X a load of times on some agreements, and skipping through some menus and updates, we ran out of time. We couldn't play it. We played it a little bit, but Liam actually had to download.
Yeah, I got beaten down by Warzone on the weekend, where I thought I had it all updated and ready to go. As soon as I installed it from my Modern Warfare disc, I thought that'd be the best, easiest, most convenient way. Turns out I was very, very wrong. When I put the disc in, I got prompted to download a 30 gig update, which took about 3 hours, I think, in the end.
You got good internet.
And I've got very good internet, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
As soon as I booted up Modern Warfare, it told me I had to download 2 add-on packs. One of them, like a compatibility pack and something else. Then it told me I had to re-download the packs I'd already downloaded because there had been optimizations to the storage size to make the overall install smaller. And so at that point,
what's not to love? You know what I mean? What's not to love?
This is like an anxiety dream of like you want to play a game with your mates and they're all waiting for you, and then just things start appearing at the 20 gig and you're like, you've got a hot dog in your hands from the barbecue and you're going,
It got to about midnight at that point the last time I checked on it, and I just left it in rest mode and went to bed. I gave up completely on Warzone.
It was so, but me and Jake played without Liam.
It was a crusade. You know, we killed for Liam.
We definitely died as well.
Although not, not as much as I thought, to be honest. Like,
all right.
It was actually, we weren't like, clapped out old men. Like we did all right.
It was like Expendables, mate. It was like Expendables. Yeah, it was okay. So they basically, there's a lot of hullabaloo around the fact that the map is exactly the same from what I remember, but it's 1984 or 1985 or whatever, rather than modern day, because they've kind of changed the setting to the Black Ops Cold War setting, even though you're still playing it within the Modern Warfare game thing, because the engine, you can still like mount your gun on the window and all that, which is from Modern Warfare. I don't think you can do that in Black Ops.
Cold War.
So you know what I'm saying. So, but they've kind of, and obviously the weapons and stuff have changed, and there's cool things. Like I noticed the stadium, isn't like a covered roof. You can actually go. It's open now, open air. Just little changes like that. I don't know if it's enough of a kind of, if you've been playing Warzone loads, I don't know if this is kind of exciting enough. Just a map that's a bit different.
I actually couldn't. Do you know what? This is the truth. You said, do you want to play Warzone? I said, yeah. I didn't look into it. And like, there's a couple of people, on Twitter who I know who are good at Call of Duty, and they talk about the exciting changes. But for them, that could be that they've added a new fucking muzzle on an assault rifle. Do you know? I don't give a fuck about what they have to say. So I go in blind essentially, and I could tell that the map was different. But if you told me to pinpoint what it was, I couldn't say, oh, it's clearly 80s. I actually couldn't, right? Yeah. And I don't know. It was just like a variation on a theme. Like it happens a lot. Like Fortnite did it, where they changed the map a little bit. Oh, Tilted Towers is gone, or whatever. And same with King's Canyon from Apex Legends or whatever. How I even remember that's called King's Canyon? What a forgettable name.
Yeah, exactly.
But
the COD one is called, what's it called?
But is it Verdansk?
Yeah,
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, and so there was there's a nuclear explosion in the distance and stuff. It's all kind of immaterial.
Fortnite as hell. It's all Fortnite as hell. Fortnite was doing this cheesy shit Like,
exactly.
So
it was all right. It was decent. It was decent fun, I think, wasn't it?
We had a bit of a laugh, and it's good. And I want to make this very clear: when we play multiplayer games, we don't communicate with headsets and that. We're just easy breezy, checking the vibe.
Using the
I can sense from Mike's avatar's crouched position what we want to do. That's how we communicate. Exactly. Yes, it's sort of telecommunications, and it's the same with the other game that we played. But we played it and it was good. I did feel like it was missing Liam, but the fact that like the game's now got a duos mode, meant that it felt like we weren't handicapped. And I'll tell you something else that is like laughable. I'm going to go on a little side note to tell you this, right? The two most laughable features I've seen in a long time are, one, it's taken about 140 gig of patches and like 40 months of development for a play again button to be added to Call of Duty. But I just want to go on a little side note to let everybody know this, right? As Google Stadia previous ambassador, I want to let you know that Google, right, which is, again, the website's premier search engine, right, which is what it's famous for, just today, at the day of recording, day of our Lord, Wednesday, the 28th of April, 2021, added a search feature to their store page. Google today. What a joke. Yeah. So anyway, the play again function was something that was really overlooked because every time you died in a battle royale, which, unless you are the winning team, that's you. So you'll die with your squad, you get booted back to the main menu so you can look at some, add-on packs or whatnot. And then you have to join in again. But now you've just got a button play again. It boots you straight into the little, like, the dummy area where it's like, okay, let's fuck them up. The lobby.
It's really good. It's a really good, simple adjustment. It seems ridiculous. Like you say, it's ridiculous that it wasn't there in the first place. But I suppose somebody thought it was a good idea to not put it in. I doubt it was like an oversight. It's obviously a decision to not do it. And that, could have been, fucking, we need their eyes on the fucking loot boxes, guys. It could have been shit like that, couldn't it? So, anyway, there's a play again button now, so that's very exciting. But, Liam couldn't download the play again button in time.
Yeah. So this really was just a recap for Liam for what he missed.
Yeah. Now Liam's up to date.
This is just as new to me as it is to everyone else.
We also played a bit of... what the hell is it called? Zombie
Army of the Dead? No, it's not even called that.
That's a Zack Snyder movie.
Zombie Army 4.
Zombie Army 4, Dead War, I think.
Yeah. Hyphen, Sniper Elite.
It is, that's good. Mod. It is, Liam, you're right. You're exactly right, yeah.
So it's good. So we played, so this is kind of a PlayStation Plus game that they gave away last month.
I think it was actually this month.
So I played this on my own, and I thought, it's pretty like solid. And I played the Sniper Elite games, and I pretty much enjoyed the first two of them, and I got on well with the series and stuff. And so this is kind of a really similar. It's just essentially they've redesigned the game around the animations and stuff that they already had and whatever, and it's good. It's like a Left 4 Dead type.
Yeah.
Run from one end of the level to the other.
Can I read the tagline? It's quite funny. Hitler's hordes are back for more in this fine chilling shooter from the makers of Sniper Elite 4. There you go. That's it.
What else do you want to know?
It's not long until a swastika pops up attached to a skull.
Yeah, look, you can shoot it to fuck, can't you?
Yeah, and then you can literally shoot it.
You can blow that fucking swastika up, so that's okay.
And it's we played. Can I just say that we played that? What was it? World War Z or something?
Yeah.
And it was kind of close to that, right?
Yeah, it was. World War Z was good. We only played it once, I think, didn't we? But it was it's a good laugh. But just that kind of that co-op zombie thing is dead straightforward. Like really simple objectives. Hopefully, it gets a bit more like challenging as it goes on, and if not, maybe we should crank the difficulty or something. But it's just a really nice kind of laid back co-op experience, I thought, and just good kind of meaty gunplay and stuff to it.
Yeah, the feedback's good from the shooting.
Yeah, and it's got this constant like Fable. Fable didn't invent this. There's probably way better ways of describing it, but I call it the Fables combat system, where there's the multiplier and your points go up and they just go. You know what I mean?
Combo kind of.
Yeah, exactly. So if you and it's kind of tied to your accuracy, right? So it's like if you keep racking up shots, you can get like you're watching the point scope, and that's a really cool feedback system as well, right? So yeah, there's a really cool loop to it. It's kind of cool. It's kind of silly and stupid, and there's like teleporting jetpack Nazi zombies and zombie sharks and whatnot. So it's stupid. It's like playing like a B movie. You know, there needed to be a theremin in the background of it all the way.
They're really shooting for the B movie kind of vibe. Aren't they?
Like they even have before every campaign you do like the fake movie poster type thing, like the really cheesy like DVD box line added on as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely loaded with fucking extra things to buy, though, isn't it? It's
quite pricey as well. It's £4 per weapon or something.
Yeah,
microtransaction heaven.
That's what you'd call it, isn't it? But do people still call them that, microtransactions? But
I don't know.
Probably.
Yeah, I haven't watched any Jim Sterling in a while, so
I don't think it's changed. Yeah,
but it's I think it's a good, it's a really good co-op kind of multiplayer experience, and I think easy to recommend if you want to play something like laid back.
Yeah, one of the better PlayStation Plus offerings in recent memory. Anyway, for me, anyway, it was.
Yeah, no, totally. No, it totally is.
Although they are doing, they've already announced May's games now. Battlefield 5 is one of them.
Mate, Battlefield 5 is going to be ace. I'm going to jump back in it, and I can't wait to shoot people's heads off that don't know how to play the game. I can't wait. And then, do you know why? It's because Battlefield fucking 6 is going to be released, isn't it? This year. We've already had that officially announced by DICE themselves in a blog.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be good. That I tell you, this next gen Battlefield will be ace. But Battlefield 5 is actually pretty sick, you know. Well, you guys do. I mean, if you're listening and you don't know, get on that. What else is free? I'm looking at the Express, and the Express is telling me that Disco Elysium is free on PlayStation Plus.
It's I think
just news to me.
The PS5 game is Wreckfest, the Destruction Derby racer type thing.
Yeah.
And then some game called Stranded Deep, which I've never heard of, is the other one. No idea what it is.
No. Yeah, Wreckfest is good. I worked on that for THQ, and it's one of them where like loads of people still ask about it, and it's got a real I was surprised at first. I was like, "What, that game?" And I playing it, and it's good. It's got something to it. I think it'll have more longevity than Destruction All Stars, was it called? Like the PlayStation 5 launch thing. I can people go mad for it, but Stranded Deep. All right then. I guess. Did you see the Games of Gold? It was like it was like fucking Lego Indiana Jones or something. Or
they seem to not be quite as good, but then they do have Game Pass. So.
It's Tropico 4, Dungeons 3, and Armello and Armello.
Why even bother with it? Really?
Just say we brought nothing this month.
For the free games, see fucking Game Pass, innit? Game Pass.
The only benefit to Games with Gold is you get to keep the Xbox 360 games. They just give them to you. It's not one where if your subscription lapses, you lose access to them. They're just on your account forever because they don't care about the 360 stuff.
Yeah.
So it's PlayStation games haven't been great at the moment. I mean, I think PlayStation's in a bit of a weird situation at the moment where it's like they haven't got that much on the way that's that exciting, and in terms of what they're giving away, how do they compete with Game Pass? They just don't. So, but I have got to say, the whatever it was called, Zombie Army 4, it was good. It's not original in the slightest. Every single thing goes through.
It's not trying to be, is it?
It's played out, but what it does is it's polished. It feels polished, doesn't it? It feels like a good.
Yeah, it actually, that's a fair point. It actually is, yeah. So you're kind of surprised. I was, anyway, the first time.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It looks all right. It looks, it looks about as good as you expect, and then it kind of, it's surprisingly kind of meaty. I think is the way to put it. But yeah, so we played a lot of co-op, played a lot of multiplayer. Also, Resident Evil. The Castle post demo was out in that weird time-limited setup that we talked about with the previous Resident Evil demo last week. So the second part of that was available on Sunday. So this is just a week now, really, before the actual
a week Friday, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really, it's really close now. But it was all right. But I actually blazed through this demo.
That's good.
It was very quick, this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all right. So because I messaged you guys to say, didn't I? I think I can't remember if it was 6 or 8 minutes, right? Yeah. But I had minutes to spare on the last one.
Yeah.
So I was like, don't get distracted by the beautiful chandeliers. Just go. And I was fully limbered up from Resident Evil 7, which I've been playing in so like that's the same engine, right? So I'm just blah blah blah. And yeah, getting through it, and I know all the little tricks of the trade, innit? Like, vampire lady, I just give her a pop in the head to run past her. Don't want to be wasting me bullets, get on with it. Yeah. And so I was trying to not, and yeah, I was like quite disappointed that it took me like less than a third to get through it, but I only got myself to blame. But they've conditioned me, so it's their fault, I think.
Well, it's the thing encourages you to blitz through it really quickly, doesn't it? That's the problem, and you're kind of, and to me, there's something about doors, and I kind of get this where I'm like opening a door and I'm like, oh my god, there's like 3 other doors behind this door, and I'm like, do I go left, right, forward?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. 2 other doors, and instead of being like a carefully working your way through this castle, you're like, where's the exit? You
shoulder barging through the doors. Yeah.
But it's a shame because there's like cool surprises in there that I didn't know about, and there's a trailer at the end of the demo that you can't skip, and it just I don't like spoilers at all, right? Especially with movies, but with games as well. I don't want to know stuff. I really don't want to know stuff, even little things, if I'm going to enjoy it and play it. And so Resident Evil, even though I've got the fucking, I'm on a gaming podcast, so I feel like I have to play these demos, which I probably otherwise would have saved them. I would have not touched them, so I can get it all in one go when I actually play the game. But the demos, there's okay, I'm being a hypocrite here because I'm going to mention it, even though I said I don't like spoilers. But there's a spoiler alert for Resident Evil Village, I guess. But there's a trader in it, right? So you can. Which is like, it's fucking so Resident Evil 4. This is really cool, and I was really buzzing about the fact that there was a merchant sitting there, and the little conversation you have and stuff, and full of personality. I really liked that, but I was feeling like, okay, this is really cool, but just give me the shotgun, and you're like, you just want to rush out of there, like. So it is weird. They definitely condition you to run through it, to rush through it. Perhaps that's what they want, though. I don't know. Perhaps there's an element of like, don't spoil it too much for yourself.
I did go through it a second time. Most of those doors are locked, so you're not missing out on anything.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, well, I was a bit confusing because I thought so the trailer was the same as the trailer from the last demo. Am I right?
Yeah.
All right. Cool. I was going to say, because I thought you said that there was a spoiler trailer, and then you were talking about this trader, and I was like the Duke, I think his name is, and I was like, what? There was a spoiler trailer with him in it, and then I was like, oh, you changed the subject.
The trailer, I consider the fact that I've played the demo and seen the Duke sitting there. I've kind of spoiled that for myself now when I play the full game. Do you know what I mean? That's the idea that I've already seen, and also the trailer. Yeah, which you can't skip because it just shows you a lot of fucking locations and that's just match it.
Well, it's the same. It's the same with they've been doing the mercenaries mode, right?
Right.
Which made me laugh. I was watching the IGN impressions. They got hands on and they were like, "It's the first, it's the first mainline game since 6.
Here's 17 reasons why you should be excited."
No, it was something like it's been a long time. It's the first mainline game since 6 to have it in, and I'm thinking, so what? Not 7 then? Like 6, and now we're on 8, and you're like, it's the first one since 6, and we're on 8.
Anyway. Did they give you 17 reasons to be excited for it?
I think they gave 8. Actually, no, I'm joking. Did they fuck? But Mercenaries mode is obviously reused. So what it is, the beginning of the Mercenaries mode, like gameplay that they show off, is exactly the map, from the what's the first one called, the Village.
Mm-hmm.
So then all the other areas I'm seeing in Mercenaries mode, I'm like, they are definitely going to be major story locations, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know if I've said this on the podcast yet. I've done a really good job of not bringing it up, but I guess I'll bring it up now because we're getting close to end the game. I know the entire game story, I've read the entire thing all the way back in October. Yeah, I saw it all. all of it. I thought that's not true.
Oh.
Looked at it, and well, did you not hear about this? No, I've told you before, but you forgot. But I'll say it again just in case anyone's wondering how it happened. Capcom got absolutely owned, didn't they? They got hacked. Everything. They lost everything. Resident Evil 4 remake it was found in the files. Dragon's Dogma 2. All of this is confirmed, man. All of it.
You know what's going to happen in the game before you've...
Yeah, listen to this. Listen to this. Do you know what's... I'm glad that you don't know that, and I'm glad that you're so shocked, because do you know what? A playable dev build has been on the internet since November, right?
Right.
A playable build of this fucking game. And so the press decided to do a bit of a Spider-Man getting unmasked on a fucking train and said, right, we're all going to collectively not mention it. You're getting banned off Reset Era and that for bringing it up and whatnot. Okay. But yeah, the entire game is that. So
that stuff has worked though, because I think I do kind of vaguely remember it now, but I had forgotten that happened, and I guess the fact that there's been like a Spider-Man 2 moment,
exactly,
with all the games doing this and stuff. That's obviously worked because it's out of my mind completely.
Well, I was just hungry for like Elden Ring news, so I was on some like leaks thing, and it was like the leaks are all kind of like don't worry, I'm not. By the way, guys, I'm not going anywhere near it, but I'm just going to say something like this. The leaks were like, the next Assassin's Creed is going to be in Norway, and then it'll take place in England, and it's called Valhalla. It might be called Ravensward. You're going to be able, that's like these bullet points, right? So I read this Resident Evil 8 months ago. We're talking like October, yeah, and it was like there'll be this, there'll be this, there'll be this. You'll play as Ethan Winters, and it'll be in a village, blah 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 blah. And then as the promo material was getting put out, I was like, every single beat is exactly as, and unfortunately, I remember it. And so we'll do a full spoiler episode later on, and I'll tell you what it was that I did know. I'm hoping that there's maybe some stuff I don't know, and I'm hoping because it's only like the key beats that were like bullet pointed, there's going to be some cool nuance that I
hopefully
that I don't know. Like, but I knew about literally the trader.
Well, I was just saying that I was upset that now I've played the demo, I know that there's a trader in it, so you could imagine. How I'd feel if I'd fucking read any of that.
Exactly. So yeah, I wanted to let you know that, guys, because I'm going to mention it eventually. I've been doing really well from keeping it from you, but I did actually. I think if you go all the way, you guys aren't, but for the avid listener that might remember, I did mention it. I'd seen it, I think, all the way back in October. But it's still, unfortunately, it's not left me. I still remember.
Have a vague recollection of it now that you've said. But yeah, so that was pretty good. I mean, what did you guys think of it compared to the village demo, the castle? What did you make of it overall?
I liked it. I thought it was more atmospheric, rather because, Gothic castle compared to just a sort of rundown Eastern European style village. I just preferred the castle setting, to be honest. I liked that we did get to do a bit of trading, bit of weapon upgrading if you wanted to. Yeah, cool. Some treasure you could find and sell if you really wanted to dig in all the cupboards and stuff.
Yeah,
there was a bit. Well, yeah, I say it's only a bit more, but comparatively to the last demo, a lot more combat because it was 6 times the enemies in this castle demo. So you got a bit more of a feel for the combat.
They were pretty scary. I thought they were pretty I felt like they were just kind of relentless.
Put you in a dark, dank dungeon with bodies literally rattling from chains.
It's good.
Creepy.
Yeah. It's it, but the only thing about it that I maybe wasn't as keen on is that so we keep talking about these 2 demos, but there was the demo before all this, wasn't there? The maiden demo, the prologue demo, if you like, and you saw all of this in there. Really, you were chased by the sexy vampire, but not the big one. In reverse, and you started off in the dank chain dungeon. Look forward to that EP, and then there was the old Yarnum creatures skulking about, and then you got chased by the hooded vampire, and then blah blah blah. So I was a bit okay, cool. I feel like this is probably going to be a bit more like that, but also playing Resident Evil 7, which takes place in like a mansion essentially, or some sort of Louisiana swamp house, whatever the fuck it is. I did welcome in the first demo, the fresh outdoors, and I loved the cornfield shit. So I preferred the first one just because it was a bit more tone setting and fresher. But
the village, you mean?
Yeah, the village demo. Sorry, yeah. Compared to sorry, I don't mean the maiden, but yeah, and I feel like they've done good with what they've shown off. But I feel like, and you know what, it's the right timing now, because now I'm like, right, I've seen all I needed to see. Well, I mean, I have. The thing, you've seen it, you've felt everything you want to. So now all you can do is wait till you feel like it was a good appetizer, get onto the main course, and it's only a week away. And I love that they've done that. It's not like months difference,
The only observation I've got now is that I also really like the village. I like the outdoor stuff a lot, and I really like the very beginning of Resident Evil 7. And I like going round the small house at the beginning. I really like that bit. And like the same way, I really like the village bit, except now I know that it's possible to leave the village within 30 minutes. And I hope there's more. I hope that isn't all of the village and the rest of it.
It's got to be. They've shown more in like previous things. It's been like
the camera goes through from the bottom of the village all the way up, doesn't it, Liam? And
I hope also there's a chunk missing somewhere between the village and the castle, if you get me, because I think that makes sense, wouldn't it?
They've shown off a very Resident Evil 5 looking bit where you're in looks like a village square, and there's a giant executioner with his big hammer, and he's smashing everything, very much like Resident Evil 5, and you've just got to sort of kite him around the village until you can kill him.
Survive, yeah, cool.
Yeah, they've shown off something like that in gameplay demos. So it seems like the village is going to be a lot bigger than the demo would lead you to believe, anyway.
And there was a kind of glimpse of the, that sort of Evil Dead, or not Evil Dead, the Night of the Living Dead, kind of boarding up the windows and pushing, not boarding up the windows, but pushing shit in front of the door and stuff. You could kind of get a bit of that in the village demo, couldn't you? And I love that about Resident Evil 4, where you were kind of getting, sometimes there'd just be like a horde coming at you, and you'd have to hold them off.
You could delay them, yeah, exactly.
Which was really, really cool. I like that sort of stuff.
Yeah, that's it. And because to me, that's the scariest thing in any game, right? Is I get really scared about running out of ammo and where do I need to go? That's, to me, it's more anxiety, isn't it? But Resident Evil 5, that bit at the beginning is dead scary to me. Right. But it's not scary, is it? It just makes me panic. But I'm really like that. So knowing that there's stuff like that means that there'll be lots of bits where you're overwhelmed. And when you see some bits in the trailer when there's enemies launching around, it's not like a zombie. You got. So yeah, it's kind of the next podcast that we do in a week will be really close. So not this one, but the next one will be the Resi special, I bet. Yeah. But there's other games on the way. I guess we'll talk about that in a bit, though, innit? Because
there's some big stuff coming. Okay, so let's do some emails then. If you want to send us an email, the address is dearspecialmoves@gmail.com. That's dearspecialmoves@gmail.com. Thanks everyone who sent them in this week. We actually had a load this week, which is really useful. It's really good to have them in the inbox, and it just helps us kind of put the podcast together, I suppose. This first one is from someone called Cathal Lynch, which I hope that isn't, you haven't got me to say something rude there without me realising it. Cathal says, Dear Special Moves, love the podcast. Literally been watching you guys for years now and feel like I'm part of the conversation.
Thank you.
So that's very nice. Cheers. Anyway, I've been wondering about these new gen consoles. That's PS5 and Series X. Do you think it's been a bit of a disaster? Because between the scalpers, the lack of availability, and severely underwhelming launch lineup with many delays, I can't remember a more disastrous launch for a console. Cyberpunk 2077 didn't really help, but that's in a disaster league of its own. Shouldn't they have just waited until 2021, at least, to launch these things? Keep up the good work, Cathal Lynch. I don't know if it's been a disaster, but I sort of feel like the lack of games that happens all the time, doesn't it? I feel like that people would say that about. I've definitely thought that about PS4, and that had some good games.
Yeah,
I thought once you had Killzone, Infamous wasn't on launch; it was a little bit afterwards.
Yeah,
and
it was mostly third-party stuff from PS4 days, wasn't it? You had your Assassin's Creed, your Call of Duties. I think Battlefield 4 was there, but there was first-party lineup was not great on the last gen.
And Xbox, of course. I mean, they have the problem with Xbox last gen was that it had its issues when they announced it, but the games were there wasn't anything really fucking exciting either, was there? Like on the cards.
Yeah, do you want me to just quickly? It won't take long. Trust me. Do you want me to read the Xbox 360 launch titles? By the way,
do it.
Okay, because this is the thing. The rose-tinted glasses. Let's take them off.
Do it.
Condemned Criminal Origins, FIFA 06, Need for Speed Most Wanted, Tetris the Grandmaster Ace, and Perfect Dark Zero. That's it.
Which is that's not in any way a reflection of the console that the 360 would go on to be, is it? At all, really.
Exactly. This is what I mean. So it's like a lot of things that you remember about the 360, like your Fables and your Viewpin, not there. There was some fair enough. If you were in Europe, by the way, you also got Amped 3 and Call of Duty 2. But again, third-party titles, so it's like
across gen as well. Like Call of Duty was on fucking
right.
Pretty sure Call of Duty would have been on.
It was definitely on PC.
Yeah, and well, I think I'm willing to consider the fact that it'd be on Xbox, the original Xbox as well.
Right. Oh, right. Yeah. So cross gen at the time as well. Yeah, exactly. So it's never what you think. That's the one thing, Cathal, that I'd say is that and by the way, I'm looking at PS3 right as well. So
PS3 was dire.
Resistance, Ridge Racer, Tiger Woods, Madden, Genji Days of the Blade, and Mobile Suit Gundam. So, they're always a bit, But the one thing I'll say about this, and this is, I don't want to speak for us all, but I can certainly say Demon Souls, as a fanboy.
Yeah. I was going to say, what do you want? What else do you want?
For me, anyway, Demon Souls is, so shit hot as a launch title. It's one of the best games I've played, right? It's so good. But the Xbox, it was purposely holding back, right? They kind of made it really clear. But I don't want to the global fucking pandemic, man. It's just that's what it is. There's all these weird moving parts with it. They probably paid for space in the shipping containers that are moving the CPUs from one area of the world to the other, and they just delaying stuff. It would have had to have that decision to just delay everything probably would have had to take place February, and the pandemic was just COVID was just getting its grasp in the world around that time. But otherwise, the amount of run up time it needs to delay things is a lot longer than you initially think, right? But it's it's still not going to be okay now. The PS5s, there's still a CPU problem that they've got, and it's not going to be any. It might not even be easier this Christmas to get them as it was last Christmas. So I guess it's not great, but it's never great, is what I'm saying. I don't want to be an apologist or whatever, by the way, because there's some games coming out on PS5 this month, and I'm looking at them and I'm going, nah, not for that, not for that price. Which I guess you could say is a disaster.
Absolutely. Well, but it also, I don't think it could be something to do with the fact that I've had a PC, but I haven't played as much of my PlayStation as I would have wanted to, really, and I haven't played a bit of Demon Souls, and then jumped on a lot of things to see how they perform. That would they're actually PS4 titles. Mm-hmm. A lot so the backwards compatibility actually helps a lot. I think without the backwards compatibility, it would feel a lot worse. If you couldn't play your PS4, if we didn't play Battlefield 5 on there, do you know what I mean? If your selection was much more limited, but even then, very quickly, then you could they ported Destiny, so you can Destiny is a PS5 title. No Man's Sky is a PS5 title.
They had
what I mean?
They had an Assassin's Creed on launch, right? They had Call of Duty on launch because it was the same week, right? Mm-hmm. What was it? I can't. It was the same week. It was a UK launch week, but there was Demon Souls, there was Spider-Man, and there was Astro Bot, if that even counts. And there was Sackboy. I've actually played all of them, right? I'm lucky enough to have them all and played them all. And it wasn't bad, but Xbox, I also was lucky enough to get an Xbox. And I played the Falconeer and thought it was shit. So, but
Xbox isn't as good. And the key thing with Xbox is Halo, isn't it?
Xbox's biggest launch exclusive was Yakuza 7. That was Even then, it was still on PC, PS4, Xbox One. It wasn't like a series exclusive.
So you would say it's definitely. I would say having an Xbox Series X is much better day one as an early adopter than it would have been having an Xbox 360 as an early adopter, because the Series X is a fucking great machine, and they've gone so hard on Game Pass and so hard on backwards compatibility.
Yeah.
Getting 120 FPS going on Battlefield and all these EA titles, Titanfall 2 and all this.
Well, that's it.
That's what they were banking on, weren't they? Microsoft. They were like, get an Xbox Series console, get a Game Pass trial, and then you've got over 100 games across 3 generations of Xbox ready to go.
I think you get in the box you get 6 months of Game Pass. Or it's at least 3. So it's like, they're handing it out. So like, I mean, Mr. Lynch, I'm afraid I got to tell you, I disagree wholeheartedly. Kind regards, Jake Krakowski. But like, I know what you mean though. It does seem shit, but then what I'm just trying to say is, it's always been shit. Yeah. Maybe PS2 was a bit different, but. I don't want to pull up the Google again, do I?
Okay, thanks for that email, Lynch. Let's do this one from George Hardwick, who says,
Are you paranoid now that their names are going to be like some? You're like fucking Mo Sislak, you are now. You're like,
Okay, this email's from Seymour Butts. Seymour Butts says, "Dear Special Moves, I put it to you, particularly the Pokemoners among you. That's not a word, is it? That a new Pokemon title with gameplay like that of the first Ni no Kuni would be an excellent step forward for the series to evolve out of the current rock, paper, scissors combat loop. Feel free to agree, or by all means, vehemently agree." George. Okay, so this one is definitely for Liam first, isn't it?
Probably.
What do you reckon? What do you reckon of that?
I think that sounds pretty great, to be honest. Ni no Kuni was basically a sort of take on Pokemon anyway.
Right.
Yeah, like I'd love to see a Pokemon with a different sort of gameplay style to it. Like, it can still be a turn-based RPG, because Ni no Kuni certainly was. You just happen to be controlling a bunch of little monsters. Like, imagine doing,
which works very well.
It Pokemon, works very well. Yeah. Like, man, you could easily do Pokemon in the style of Persona, where you're swapping out instead of Personas, swapping out Pokemon every turn and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Sadly, I don't think Game Freak will ever do it, because it takes Game Freak about 20 years to catch up to what everyone else is doing in game development, and they don't really seem like they want to change all that much. So it's just sort of a pipe dream, I think, sadly. So unless you hand over development to a completely different developer, like, I don't know, like not Square.
Level 5.
Well,
5,
even Level 5 have been on a bit of a shit streak for the last few years.
What's a game that was like Pokemon? Yokai Watch.
Yeah, Yokai Watch. That was massively popular for a while in Japan. But I don't know who you could give Pokemon to that might give it a breath of fresh air.
The answer for this question, whenever asked, Liam, is normally Platinum Games, I think. So,
I don't know. I don't know how how they do an RPG. Like, they've done action RPGs like Nier Automata and Astral Chain, but I don't know how they would do like a turn-based battle RPG.
From Software. Can you imagine?
They have actually done turn-based RPGs before.
That would be good.
Bring it back. Do you know what I find mad though, Liam?
Actually,
right, is that
give it to the Xenoblade people. They do something good with it.
I'll make a couple of calls.
Yeah. Or the Breath of the Wild developers. They'd do something good. Why not?
Well, let me tell you, that new Pokemon that they're doing is a bit Breath of the Wild, isn't it? You know, the one that's like, what's it called? That one?
Pokemon Legends Arceus.
Did you just call me? Pokemon Legends Arceus? Oh yeah, it is.
Arceus is a Pokemon.
Champion or something.
Yeah, actually, so that does look like it could be something different, though, right? Which is not exactly what George wants, but because you know what I find fucked up about this sort of stuff, right? Like, Nintendo, they either go so stupidly different, like Pokemon Pinball Rumble Edition or some shit, or Pokemon, yeah, exactly, yeah, or Pokemon. What was it like? What's that cafe game? No shade on the cafe game, but what's the cafe game?
I know the one you mean, but I can't remember what it's called.
Cafe Mix, Pokemon Cafe Mix or something. Doing all that shit, Candy Crush, Pokemon Candy Crush, and all that. But they won't just do like Pokemon Octopath Traveler, will they? Because it's like almost a bit too. But then with Zelda, it's like when he finally did do a change on like it was like, oh my god, you know. I wonder if this is going to be the game to do it. But it's the one that everyone's kind of like, everyone's saying, you know, Nintendo fans are always like, our franchise, but Breath of the Wild, apart from Donkey Kong fans. Donkey Kong Fan Master Race, we don't fuck with that idea. That'd be shit, Donkey Kong Country Breath of the Wild edition. But this Pokemon thing, I think, would be ace. So,
I don't know, you know, like, Pokemon fans have been asking for open world Pokemon for years and years now, but I feel like it's going to be a bit of a monkey's paw situation. Where it's like, you get an open world Pokemon, but there's going to be some sort of curse attached to it.
It's empty as fuck. There we go. That's my prediction. I reckon it'll be like this empty, boring world. Like... ever.
All open worlds. Well, I feel like that was I'm not a Pokemon fan, but I feel like that was an appalling answer to your question there, George. I really don't know if that's what you wanted.
All right. Yeah.
That's what you got. Thanks, everyone, for sending your emails in this week. Please do keep them coming in. It's dearspecialmoves@gmail.com. If you agree with us, totally disagree with us, tell us. I want to know what people think of the Resident Evil demo, really, which would be quite cool to get that, the week that Resident Evil is coming out. So this weekend, when the Resident Evil demo goes live, I know we're talking a lot about Resident Evil, but, who cares? We're excited about it.
Play the live to the streets. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not the bourgeoisie anymore. The streets can play. Yeah.
So get on the Resident Evil demo this weekend. I think it's available for a bit longer, actually. They said it was like 24 hours or something initially, but I think it's a bit longer now.
I think they've done it. They've extended it through the entire week, I think.
Yeah, it's like 8 days now.
Yeah, like past the launch of the actual game. You can still be able to try the demo out. Only for 60 minutes, though.
Well, yeah, so it's still time limited, but at least, fine, whatever.
Yeah, you got a week.
So you got a week to play the Resident Evil demo on all platforms. Is that including PlayStation, I guess? Then PlayStation just gets it again.
Yeah, I assume they just unlock it for everyone then.
So it's an hour of Resident Evil. You can play the village portion and the castle portion. Play that and send us an email. Let us know what you think about it. Okay, let's do the new games. There's quite a lot of big new games on the way over the next few weeks, starting with this week. Before we get to that, though, on the 29th, which is today, the day of the podcast going out, the Thursday, R-Type Final 2 is out on Nintendo Switch, PS4, Xbox One, Xbox Series X. It's actually in here twice. It actually says it's out on the Friday as well. So I guess that's a regional difference.
Yeah, probably.
But Liam, I feel like you've played this, haven't you?
I played one of them on the PSP. I can't remember which one it was. But yeah, they're like side-scrolling shooters, like space shooters. Like, like it's been going for
pretty hard, isn't it? I feel like I played it.
Pretty tough games. They've been going for Christ knows how many years, but it's been around a long time. I think it even goes back to the days of like Amiga computers and stuff like that. So it's been around a long, long time. But apparently this one is really good. From I've read a few impression articles about it, and they've been very positive.
Yeah,
seems that there's actually a demo available on PlayStation and Steam and Switch.
Yeah, I didn't mention PC. It's coming to PC as well. Okay, so
today.
That's out today, and also out today is Total War Rome Remastered, which is out on PC, Mac, and Linux. So you've heard me talk about Total War a lot. I'm not actually going to get this though. I'm not. From what I've seen, I never felt very strongly about Total War or Rome Total War, which I think is what it was originally. I didn't feel that strongly about it at the time. It wasn't one of the ones that I got really excited about. But for some, it's like the best in the series, the Total War series has ever been. These big grand strategy games on the PC. Well, they've basically it is a remaster. It's a kind of fresh coat of paint, but not. It's certainly not a remake. It's certainly, it's kind of better resolution. better graphical effects and stuff, but it is essentially the exact same game, but it's quality of life and stuff. Which I have not really had a proper look at the reviews in that, but I can imagine it's going to be. It's going to show its age is what I'm trying to say. It's going to feel like an old game because the way that Total War games handle now, it's a completely different experience to what they were like back then. Back then they weren't very good. I mean, in comparison, it's as simple as that. And I think it'll be interesting to see how well this goes. I'm sure people will the fans of the thing will absolutely love it. But okay, so that's out on the 29th. And then on the 30th, there's a couple of big games. New Pokemon Snap is out on Nintendo Switch, which is a game about taking photos of Pokemon on rails. So you're kind of on a little tour, on a little safari, taking photos of.
It's on rails, but apparently it's 15 hours long.
So hell yeah, baby!
That's a lot of photo taking.
On the rail, or is like.
No, there's like branching paths, and different biomes you go into, but apparently the campaign takes 15 hours to get through, because the reviews are already out there, and got some pretty good reviews. I think it's sitting at like an 82 on OpenCritic or something right now.
Wow.
But it's getting a lot of love.
Sure, it makes a hell of a lot of sense. The Switch, basically, you're holding it like you hold the camera anyway, aren't you? So it probably...
oh, yeah. That'd be a great case for like motion controls. You can literally sit in a computer chair just spinning around.
Yeah, exactly. It's cool, cool escapism, that I think. And the reviews are you got as low as like Guardian gave it 6 out of 10, and then old Telegraph gave it a full fat 10 out of 10, a 100 score.
Nice.
Like it's dividing the people. That's only Pokemon Snap would.
I think it's made by Bandai Namco as well. Not like the Pokemon company. It's made.
Okay.
It got contracted out to Bandai Namco to do it, and they did a good job by the sounds of it.
I love the look of it. Right, I would spend full fat money on it and play it for an hour and then never touch it again, probably. So I'm like, you know what I mean? But I love the look of it, and I think it'll be a good vibe.
Sadly, it's gonna have to wait for me.
And then on the same day, a big Sony exclusive is out. Returnal is out on PS5 only. It's fully kind of next gen title. Third person shooter by Housemarque. We've talked about it a bit, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of everywhere.
Probably mentioned it on the upcoming games this year and all that kind of discussion. We probably brought it up a few times.
Yeah.
What are you guys going to do about this?
Absolutely fuck all.
I'm going to get it, I think, because I'm a big fan of Housemarque's stuff. They made Resogun, Alien Nation, Dead Nation, what's it called?
Douche Nation.
Super Stardust.
Station Nation. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Super Stardust. All these, Nex Machina is probably their most famous one. All these like really small arcade-like experiences, but super polished, very addictive gameplay loops to them. This is their first shot at like a big AAA type game. I don't know if they're owned by Sony. I don't think they are. But this is like they're proving ground now. This is, do they have the chops to make big full fat games instead of these little 20 quid downloadable arcade indie title things?
Well, it's a AAA game, but it's definitely like an indie premise, isn't it? Like that idea of it's a roguelike basically. Yeah, and a live die repeat kind of thing.
Yeah, and you know what? Yeah, it's considered a roguelike psychological horror video game, right? They're my favorite types of games. Yeah, they're my favorite types, and I'm like, why do I not care? And then do you know what it is? Yeah, like what I find odd, right, is how much they've given it to everyone, like all the influencers, all the journalists.
Give it to me. I want it.
Do you know what's funny? Yeah, they're giving it to those people for impressions. You got the likes of PlayStation Access saying like, we absolutely love it. Wasn't expecting to like it, right? I don't know.
17 reasons.
Yeah. Well, it was right. And anyway, the point is, there's still no Metacritic score though, innit? So they're letting everyone go wild with previews and impressions, but not scored reviews. And I wonder why that is.
That's interesting. The reviews are going live today, the day the podcast goes out. They might already be live by the time you're listening to this. But I want this. And for me, I mean, the roguelike thing, I can take it or leave it. But the fact that it's a sci-fi psychological horror, I'd put Dead Space comfortably in one of my favorite games ever. And anything that even remotely evokes that, I'd be interested in.
Yeah, there's a GIF of it that's going around Twitter of emerging out of a cave into this landscape where the sky's all red and there's clouds.
I'm looking at it.
And there's this giant.
It's on my screen right now.
This giant eldritch-looking monster towering over you, shooting laser beams.
Amazing.
It sounds perfect.
Sorry if you're listening, you can't see. Jake's just trying to show us it in the reflection in his glasses.
My anime hacker glasses. But oh, you know what though, right? As a champion of the old roguelike genre, I gotta say they do get the best replay value, don't they? Value for money.
Yeah.
But that also is a bit of a downfall, isn't it? Because like the only way you'd play a roguelike is because of the loop, not for the story, right? But I find that super interesting that this is the thing. Sony stepping away from the stupid third-party big story thing to do a roguelike for fucking £70.
I mean, it's the first real meaty Sony exclusive that isn't a fucking open world game with towers and all that kind of shit. And at least it feels.
Yeah.
Or Demon Souls. Do you know what I mean? Think how many that are open world games and third person story focused and ones that aren't. This should be. I should be buying this on Friday. So why am I not? It's £70, and it just feels like even though I'm talking about games on a gaming podcast, I just can't quite justify spending £70.
Mate, the Hacks and Cloak is doing a soundtrack, as well. He's fucking. Do you know Hacks and Cloak? Yeah, he just makes a lot of moody music, but I guess he's pretty famous for doing Midsummer. He did the Midsummer soundtrack, and he did a bit for Red Dead Redemption. He's ace as well. So even more on paper,
why not?
This is why. That's why. £70.
Yeah, the price is it's just ridiculous, to be honest.
So forgive me for revealing maybe a bit of information you didn't want revealing, Jake, but you're kind of thinking about selling your games console, your PS4.
Yeah.
You couldn't even fucking buy Returnal if you sold it. You wouldn't get enough.
Yeah, that made me laugh. Right? Yeah, exactly. So
enough money to buy Returnal.
Exactly. I got my PS4 knocking about, and I just thought, I'll just sell it because I'm going to try and declutter. Boom. So get rid of it. I got PS5 now. So. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't even get a PS5 game for a PS4.
For an entire console with a controller and all that.
Yeah.
There's just something strange about the prices. With Demon Souls, I thought, okay, I think that's all right. The probably prices won't be £70, but
even Demon Souls was hard for me, and I say that as a massive Souls fan. Where when I was on that Amazon page, I really hesitated about pressing that buy now button, even though I had a PS5 secured and ready to go. I was just like, and even Miles Morales, I loved Spider-Man 2018.
Yeah.
But even Miles Morales was £45, and that was only a 8-hour game at most.
It's an expansion.
Yeah. Somewhere, Phil Spencer is smiling. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I'm sure you'll all be interested, dear listeners, to see who's cracked next week. So one of us is going to do it.
It's probably going to be me, to be honest.
Let me know, and if you do, I'll get Pokemon Snap. Yeah,
that sounds good, doesn't it? It's you think about it's dropping £70 on this, right? And then I'm not going to get this at the expense of Resident Evil. I've been excited for Resident Evil for a long time.
Right,
I'm buy that, and I'm definitely going to buy Mass Effect, which is the week later. So
is Mass Effect more expensive than Resident Evil as well?
Yeah,
I think that's £70.
Mass Effect is $59.99, yeah, and then 50. Resident Evil is $50 to $55, depending where you get it.
So Resident Evil, I've been looking forward to that for a long time. I've been buying up all these old Resident Evil games. Jake's done exactly the same.
Yeah.
I couldn't be prouder.
Yeah.
What codes want to correct?
Well, the people don't know. The people don't know, do they? You know, remember Liam's timeline? It inspired us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Podcast or the bonus podcast?
I can't remember.
Well, in one of the podcasts last week, Liam gave us a history lesson of the in which proper order do the
In chronological order.
Yeah, and it was a bit embarrassing for me because I was like, and then he's like, and then of course there's Revelations, and then there's Revelation, and then I was like, I haven't even played that bit. So
we were checking curveballs. Like, what about Outbreak, though, Liam? When's Resident Evil?
Do you want to know where Resident Evil Gaiden takes place?
Yeah,
After 2.
See, this is it. Yeah,
And it was on the Game Boy Color.
So me and Jake have been buying up some Resident Evil classic games, and so I'm super excited for Resident Evil. I'm getting that, you know. And then Mass Effect, it's fucking Mass Effect. I've been excited for that before it even existed. I've been really looking forward to that for a long time. I'm getting that Legendary Edition. I really want to play them. So then something's got to give, and unfortunately, it's going to be the fucking £70 unknown quantity, even if it does get 9s and 10s.
And I think a lot of people are going to be in the same position because there's lots of games coming up that everyone's looking forward to, and you can't just be whapping out that much money every month. And so it's like, I reckon Returnal is going to have a bit of a tough time, but it'll be one of them where it'll be a bit like Control, where it'll come back, right?
Yeah.
In like 6 months, people will be like, "Oh shit!" And this is the game, you know, because that happened with
I did that with Control. Yeah, I absolutely love Control, and I came to it really late. And but you know, it's depressing to even say what I just said. You know, I heard myself saying that then, and I'm saying I'm not going to buy the original new idea because I'm buying these two things that I know and I'm familiar with and I'm excited about already. You know, I heard myself say that. I'm getting the sequels. I'm not getting the original thing. But the original thing costs £70. It's as simple as that.
I really hope that Sony do just like throw that idea away of the whole £70 games thing, because they're the only ones doing it. Even EA aren't, like, they're getting close, but even they're not going the full 70, you know, like
Nintendo in the 90s with Nintendo 64 cartridges are going, oof.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It does remind. They tried to do it with PS4 games as well when they first launched. If you remember, like Killzone Shadowfall was like £55 everywhere, and then a couple months later it was like £25 in the clearance aisle.
It's a £5 on PSN store within 6 months. Okay, so that's a busy start to some new games coming out. There's going to be some big games to talk about every week for the next few weeks.
It's literally seems to be all the way till like July then.
Yeah, it's pretty.
And we got E3 in between that.
Oh yeah. So okay, we're going to record a bonus podcast now for our patrons. If you support us on Patreon, we do a bonus podcast every single week. After every episode, we have a little cup of tea and then do a little 20-30 minute follow-up. 30-40 minute follow-up, talking about off-topic stuff, movies, probably a bit more game stuff as well. So if you want to listen to that, head over to Patreon. And do keep your emails coming in. If you're going to pick these games up over the next few weeks, then tell us about them. Write us emails to dspixelmoves@gmail.com and you'll help us put the podcast together. Thanks everyone for listening and for watching. We'll see you next week.
Bye. Bye.